Today, Vice President Harris and former President Obama are taking the stage together in Georgia. Obama made an appearance in Detroit this week alongside rapper Eminem. The Harris campaign is encouraging voters to hit the polls ahead of Election Day. And here's part of Obama's message.
I get why people are looking to shake things up. I understand that. But what I cannot understand is why anybody would think that Donald Trump will shake things up in a way that is good for you.
Both Michigan and Georgia are near ties, according to our partners at Decision Desk headquarters in thehill.com. Trump slightly ahead in Michigan, Harris slightly ahead in Georgia. NewsNation's Brooke Schaefer is live for us in Georgia ahead of Harris and Obama's event today. Brooke, what's the feeling like out there before they take the stage?
Well, Marni, you know, it's interesting because when VP Harris entered this race, she appeared to have given Democrats some new hope in Georgia. She was tied even at one point with former President Trump. But recently, some new polling suggests that Harris is losing some of that momentum. Her numbers right now just behind former President Trump. She's struggling to meet the numbers that President Biden saw here in 2020. So today, with this rally just outside of Atlanta, the vice president is looking to really mobilize her supporters in this final stretch. It's going to be her first joint rally with former President Barack Obama. Bruce Springsteen is set to perform. All of this really an effort to also generate buzz around her campaign and hopefully attract young voters. It's a group where President Biden saw historically high support in 2020. But a new poll by Gen Forward shows Harris struggling to match those numbers, though we should say she is doing better with young voters than Biden was when he dropped out of the race. But Georgia, of course, a crucial state for both parties. The numbers right now well within the margin of error. So this pivotal battleground still very much a toss-up. But this statistic is interesting, Marni. 8 of the last 12 Georgia winners ultimately went on to win the presidency. Marni?
It's a critical state. Brooke, both campaigns courting young voters, also black voters. That's another group where Harris hasn't been able to match the enthusiasm that Biden saw in 2020.
And there is a concern today among some Democrats, Marni, that black voters are so unenthusiastic with their options this year that they might not even go out and vote at all in a few weeks. And keep in mind, here in Georgia, black voters make up about 30% of the electorate. They are a key voting bloc in the Peach State. 4 years ago, Biden carried the black vote with 88%. Right now, Harris has about 75%, despite recent pushes to energize this voting bloc, particularly black men. Earlier this month, she announced a plan to give black men more economic opportunities. Even still, there is that concern from Democrats over a lack of enthusiasm.
The thing that really struck me, I think this is the explanation for why Trump appears to be doing so well in that poll, is that Harris is getting only about 75% of the black vote. Now, only 8% said that it was for Trump, which means a surprisingly large share of the black vote has not yet come to grips with whom they're going to support.
And there is some recent polling, though, that shows here in Georgia about 8% of voters are still undecided. Marni?
And Brooke, the Harris campaign is going to be on their way to Houston tomorrow, and there's some new reporting that she may be joined on the campaign trail by a pretty big celebrity.
Yeah, the Washington Post now reporting that Beyonce is going to be joining Vice President Harris on the campaign trail in Houston. Now, we should note there was a lot of buzz, a lot of talk that Beyonce was going to be at the DNC in Chicago. That didn't pan out. But again, this reporting now from the Washington Post that Beyonce will be joining this list of big names that Harris continues to pull out. Like we mentioned, Bruce Springsteen is going to be here today. We've spoken with some Harris supporters on the campaign trail who say that they appreciate seeing the big names. At the very least, it generates buzz around the campaign. And Harris supporters think that hopefully this at least attracts some undecided voters, which really is the name of the game right now in this final stretch. Marni?
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, we'll see if it happens. Brooke, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.